Hello and welcome to the third and long podcast at 8:30 on Thursday. It's our preview show for week 2 and looking back on all the news that has broken over the past couple of days. As always, I am with Ollie Butler Henderson and Phil Perrins. How are you boys?
I'm very good. I am.
Uh,
I'm good. I just want to mention something. Okay, it's very rare that I don my colours while I'm on the show, and because and it's what it is. It's I come back from training, I just grab the first thing out of the wardrobe, and it's rare that I'm the only one in proper gear. It's normally you two and Shano have got some kind of Niners or Ravens gear on. It's a strange universe today we are living in.
Yeah, I've not done my washing yet for this week. I'm going to do it tomorrow. So,
I haven't. I was gonna say I haven't been upstairs since I got in from school and had a shower and then came back down again. So I'm literally wearing a Ken hoodie from the Barbie movie with a Brock Lesnar t-shirt underneath. So I'm really sorry that I haven't made the usual effort for our show, which has a predominantly the medium that people watch it on or access it tends to be audio anyway, so I hadn't really thought about the visual element of our audio podcast.
That's fine with me. Shall we roll back onto Monday night? Let's go over Monday night's game.
And Ollie's done a lap of honour because it now means the Patriots might not finish bottom of the division.
To be fair, yes, there is that as well.
Just out of interest, before we start, have you guys seen what happened at that Green Bay bar that was doing a deal for
Yes,
every time the Jets lose when Rodgers starts the game, they get free drinks, and when Rodgers went out, everybody
they all
went
started
to the
yeah.
bar. And then they were filming live when the Jets won the game, and you just see everyone's reaction, and it's great.
It's amazing.
I will add though, Jets played really well. They are very solid on defense, as we know. But Josh Allen, you've got to step your game up. You are now, since 2018, you've had 83 interceptions. That's most in the league.
There were 3 or 4 throws where he was just way too greedy on Monday night. He didn't need to make them.
Yeah, it's Josh Allen always seems to take, right, I need to put this team on my shoulders instead of being the team man, instead of passing around, instead of moving around, and as he does. And it's a real, I mean, if he was a team player, he'd be really good, basically. The Bills just didn't look at all at sea.
Just out of interest, do you think he maybe doesn't trust his receivers enough, sort of, not to liken him to someone, but Aaron Rodgers like?
Yeah, I get that. I do get what you mean.
Because
but he's played with Gabe Davis now for 2 seasons. He's played with Diggs for 3.
He seems to only have Diggs.
Dawson Knox, he should be used to Knox, Diggs, and Gabe Davis by now because they've been around since he's been there near enough. And they are elite.
Do we not think that it might be the pressure getting to him?
What, the big contract now?
Yeah, like in terms of how, I mean, let's get on our high horse for a second. I mean, I stand accused of this. Last season, I generally called him being league MVP, and he did not deliver. I generally thought that the Bills would be going to the Super Bowl. They did not deliver. This was supposed to be a Super Bowl run team last season. They didn't deliver. And there was lots of talk in the offseason. We talked about the head coach being on the hot seat. Josh Allen is now being almost surpassed by other quarterbacks in that position. And I'm not just saying it all on him, but he was really bad the weekend. And I think it was more of a fan hope that the Jets would lose and the Aaron Rodgers experiment would just go up in flames, more so than obviously Josh Allen's in his prime. Aaron Rodgers is at the end of his career. Allen should be winning this quite comfortably. And it came out of it where, Aaron Rodgers went down, but Zach Wilson looked all right when he came in. He looked a much more competent quarterback than the Madden 24 cover star.
Yeah.
He looked like he'd learnt a lot from Rodgers in the short time they'd worked together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see Rodgers being there, almost being that quarterback coach for this season. Come back,
Let
Yeah.
me-
I
let
can
me-
see
let-
that happen.
Let me ask you guys this. Is this the last time we'll see Aaron Rodgers on a football field? Because
No.
I don't think it is. I don't
No.
think he will let it end like this.
Any normal human, you would say yes. But excuse me.
Shane is suggesting perhaps the Madden curse.
Yeah, you could be onto something there, Shana. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll get to Aaron Rodgers' injury in a bit because we know what's going on. But I want to talk about that Jets defense is really, really good.
Oh yes, it's not Niners level, but it's good.
Andy Woodhouse has got himself quarter of a million for having 3 receptions for the season.
Yeah.
In one game.
Who's Andy Woodhouse?
Is it Andy Woodhouse? The name? The guy? Wood something. Woodside.
Oh,
The
yeah.
DB, yeah. Yeah, so he's got himself like $250,000 for hitting his target in the first game. I mean, he's gone up and given Josh Allen, can you sign this ball for me?
Yeah, Dre Greenlaw did that last year to Brady.
And Brady goes, yeah, fine, not a problem at all. That was pure class by Brady. Got to give him that.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of talk in the offseason. Would Bryce Hall have his explosiveness be the same that he had last season?
Yes.
First 2 carries over 100 yards.
I have to admit, when we did the draft, I thought it was a poor pick from my mate Jack, but he pretty much single-handedly won him the game against Noah.
Yes. And Noah's like, messing me. Is he going to play? Because he had a queue next to it. I said, I don't know, but I don't think he's going to get a lot of carries anyway, because I generally think if Aaron Rodgers is there, it is going to be very much a passing attack game, you know.
The thing is, I think the Jets have 3 very, very good running backs.
Who's the third?
Yeah.
Carter.
Yeah, Carter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've got... I think their left tackle's a little bit weak. I think that's where their weakest point is on that O-line. But tight end needs a bit of work on it. But, you know, wide receivers and skill positions.
I think Azoma's okay at tight end.
Would you have him over Kittle?
No, but Kittle's
Yeah,
an
no.
elite. Kittle's an elite.
Okay. Kittle is different gravy. Like you wouldn't.
Most definitely. I mean, it's something else, isn't it? It's
Ollie, do you think Hunter Henry now is going to be your tight end 1 after the first game, where he seemed to get a lot more targets and receptions than Gesicki?
I think that was always the case anyway, and that one-handed catch kind of showed it. I was like, Tonk, thank you very much. That's mine. I mean, I think it's going to be a game-on-game situation, I think, because I think Gesicki he's a very, very good tight end, and he will do the dirty stuff as well. It's almost going to be Hernandez Gronk situation. 1 week they're going to have one's going to have all the targets, and the other week the other one. I think is going to go back to that situation.
Yeah, well,
And the one is also going to end up like killing somebody.
No,
I have Gesicki in a few fantasy football leagues, so if Mac could throw him the ball a bit more, I'd appreciate it.
Hey, Max, the 4th highest throw, most yardage already this season. I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, well, Purdy's got the best QBR in the league.
And Max number 2. Well, that one out. But no, I mean, so Gibson, the undrafted rookie who pretty much won in the game. I remember saying to Kelly about week 3 of Hard Knocks, I think this guy's preseason games, this guy's going to make the team as a special teamer, as a kick returner.
Well, you got to see a great moment on Hard Knocks where he was told he would make the team.
Oh, yeah. And that was brilliant. You know, him
Yes.
and Brownlee are 2 very good undrafted.
They're not bad at ping pong either.
No. Are the Bills in trouble? Is this a Bills that they can fix quickly? Is this just the Jets riding on the crest and having that Aaron Rodgers, we've got to fight for our guy no matter who, or is it the
I
Bills?
think it's three things.
Yeah.
I think it's the Jets are actually a good team, and the Bills got beaten by a very good team.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I think it was rustiness from Josh Allen.
Yep.
And number three, I think that the Jets were, as you said, we've got to fight for our guy. And I think, so this is just an aside, I think the way the Jets have acted, how they're devastated for Rodgers, shows how well liked he is in the Jets community, which I think shows that maybe he has a different persona to the one in Green Bay, where he seemed quite cold and disconnected.
And moody.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think on it, Phil?
I still think it's maybe a wee bit too early to tell, but he looks really good. I am quite fancying, but I like to see a little bit more of him as the next couple of weeks progresses.
Who, Josh Allen or Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson. So we were talking about Zach.
No.
We're
talking about Zach.
No,
I've got to apologise for our teacher friend. He's very tired. He's had 2 weeks.
I'm extremely tired.
He's extremely tired now.
All right. So. So when we talk about Josh Allen, are we talking about Josh Allen? Are we talking about Josh Allen, the linebacker for the Jags, or the quarterback?
The Bills organization, are they in trouble?
Yes, 100%. I'm sorry, I don't even think it's like an overstatement. I think the momentum in that stadium when Aaron Rodgers went down should have been enough for a killer team just to put it to bed. And like I said,
a Tom Brady
the Bills
team.
Yeah, the Bills are supposed to be a super team, like they are, and yet when Aaron Rodgers went down, I mean, I've watched the highlights, I've watched the whole thing, the whole buzz coming into MetLife. I mean, he came out with the flag. I mean, he was patriotic. The whole thing was like, this is Aaron Rodgers' big moment. The Jets are excited, and then when he went down, you just felt the whole stadium go, "Oh, our season's done already," and that should have been enough for a top tier quarterback like Josh Allen and the team around him just to kill it dead. But they didn't. They actually longed it out, and it made Zach Wilson look good. And we talked about like Xavier Gibson as well. Yeah, I think they are in trouble. I mean, I'll tell you what, if they don't perform convincingly well, so this is my cat jumping on me. If they don't perform convincingly well this weekend, I think they are really in trouble. And, I think they could even lose their conference.
Yo, Shane says you need a haircut.
I know, lad. I know. Normally, it's like when I was talking to Shane earlier, it's because normally my hair is like on this side of the hair. Like it's like this big bouffant, but like because I've had a shower, I just don't know what to do with myself. But yeah, I'm a proper hippie.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get more onto Aaron Rodgers in a minute. Obviously in the news section. But let's wrap up week one with a few awards we've got going on. Just going to get it scrolling across the screen. So we've got Player of the Week, Rookie of the Week, and Player of the Week. Phil, talk us through your Player of the Week because I couldn't find a video of it.
All right, so it is my goal this year on Player of the Week is to highlight the more lesser known aspects or players that don't really get the credit that they deserve. Now, everyone in the Bay is talking about the amazing performance from Christian McCaffrey and that one run where he scored his touchdown. You see Ray-Ray McCloud just absolutely torpedo himself at the secondary that was trying to take him down. But no one remembers how effectively Jake Moody drilled the point after effect through calm down, through the goalpost. So even though there's not a video of it because nobody cared, I just want to highlight that my Player of the Week is the rookie kicker, Jake Moody, who he took in the third round, who missed a couple of really big field goal attempts in the preseason, actually was 100% consistent the weekend. So my Player of the Week, field goal conversion, baby.
And just to tag on to that, my Rookie of the Week is Jake Moody. San Francisco
There we go.
49ers.
There we go.
3 from 3 on point after attempts, 2 for 2 on field goals.
Shado actually chose that actual touchdown as Player of the Week. So let's play Player of the Week. And and we'll just go through them. We'll keep the mics off so we can have a chat.
Of terrible football. We've got the ball. Let's see what we can do with it to start the half.
Trying to do something here with Christian McCaffrey. Got a bruising block from Brandon Ayuk. Got another from Ray McLeod. Turned it into a touchdown.
I mean,
This
this
is Jones's catch. I mean, I love this view, the paddock view, and then this is
the touchdown that won the game. I mean, the way he cuts back inside, it's second to that, is it? Patience as well.
How does that guy, number 8, who has an absolutely clear tackle on him, miss him?
I know, but what I like about that is, CMC, we see this week in, week out from him, how he is that. But you've got Ayuk, who's already scored 2 touchdowns, already over 120 odd yards for the game, still put in a massive block. And
I'm not sure if you can see that. Ray McLeod started that play on the other sideline.
Yeah.
He runs the entire width of the field to put that block in.
But it's a good block as well. He used his hands. It was a legal block, and literally he drove him backwards. There was nothing of that. I think it was Joey Porter, wasn't it?
Was it Joey Porter? Oh, devastating. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not Joey.
The rookie might have dropped him back.
It was nice to see Ray McLeod out there because I didn't think he was going to play week 1 when he got injured.
No.
So, the CMC touchdown run was Shano's Player of the Week. We'll put them up on our socials in the morning.
Zay Jones' catch was mine, and the Gibson touchdown was Mr. Butler Henderson's.
It was such a good run, and I love kick returns. Probably because, one of the first plays that Jules Edelman played for the New England Patriots was a kick return for a touchdown. It's brilliant.
And you do love Jules.
Jules is my guy.
I love Edelman. He was quality. I wish he would have played for San Francisco at one point. Because he nearly came. When he was a free agent, he came to meet in San Francisco because he is from the Bay. But he decided to go back to New England, win another Super Bowl.
Player of the week. Shano has taken Tyreek Hill with 211 yards. 216 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Quite simple. It's
also fantasy.
Yep. Tua is Tyreek Hill is Tua's version of Kirk Cousins' version of Justin Jefferson. He's down there somewhere. I'll just throw it to him. He'll catch it.
Yeah, just eat it.
Yep.
Tua is my player of the week.
Yep.
466 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
The third highest,
which was his fault. I will admit that.
Yep. It was also the third highest most yards thrown in a week 1 game.
And Ollie still refuses to believe that Tua is a good player. Although what I don't like is that in the press conference today, he was there bragging about it. Do you know who you never heard brag about their performance? Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, any top quarterback never went, "Oh, I did see what I did in that last game. Oh, it was so good."
If he could do it up against a top defense, and he's going up against a bloody good defense this weekend against us on Sunday night.
It'll be
if he does over 300 yards there, then fair play to him. Then you could back it up. But he's now going to do 4 or 5 weeks on ago. He's got to keep this up because last year
I've got him starting this week. For my fantasy team.
I really wouldn't.
Tom just came saying, "Love how the Bosa versus Chase argument reared its ugly egg on Monday. We'll listen to the full show tomorrow on my drive to work. Nice to see you, lads." It's good to hear from you, Tom. And that Bosa versus Chase argument will never die.
No, that's always going to be there. We'll give Phil gentleman last because he actually won Vote of the Week for the audience that you might have seen on our Twitter. We had Player of the Week. We chose Vote. We're going to do that going forward. I've gone for Jesse Bates. So moved over to Atlanta from Cincinnati. First game, 2 picks. And there were a couple of really good picks on that one. Some very, very, very good picks. And Mr. Perrins, you chose, as with 44% of the votes, this week's winner is
Mr. Ayuk.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I was expecting like a video because like you were like teeing up the VTs earlier. So but it's massively. I'm happy on two fronts because I genuinely, and we talked about it on Monday's show as well. I genuinely went into the game, thinking that the Steelers would give us a bigger test than they ultimately gave us. And upon reflection, I don't know if you remember, Ollie. I don't know if it was last season or the season before. There was a moment in the 49ers organization where Kyle Shanahan had frozen Ayuk out of the team for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was
Whether that was
the start of 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, and it was whether or not it was like attitude or contribution or ethic. And Kyle it wasn't made a massive deal out of it, but like he just phased him out, sat him for a couple of games, and then he just came back and was absolutely electric. And we found a lot of the times when Debo would go down, Ayuk stepped up quite a lot last season. And I generally think, yes, it's going to be his contract negotiation in the offseason anyway. But I think Shanahan's finally found his ex-wide receiver, someone that actually you can rely on. Now, I mean, we talk about the 49ers not doing well in the first round of the draft, but we certainly are with Bosa and Ayuk. I mean, Ayuk was drafted in the first round.
They actually asked Ayuk about, so they said to him in the press conference, so this time 2 seasons ago, we asked you about your playing time. And then they're like, what do you think about that now? And he just basically pied off the question, was like, that was a different time. I was a different player. Now I'm just focused on doing my job.
Yeah, and it's almost like the perfect West Coast offense because Jerry Rice always stated that he hated running 50 yards or 40 yards and then catching the ball. He would much prefer a slant where he catches it on 10 and then he racks up the yaks. Those are the type of plays that he loves. And that's what I'm generally seeing with this 49er wide receiving core. Where, Debo he's a power runner, he's a wide back, he's whatever you want to do. But like Ayuk, a lot of his plays are he catches them on like 10 to 15 yards and then he racks up the yaks. And I think that particular play with, questions around Brock Purdy's, throwing arm or the, not being able to make the deep balls, but he's got weapons around him like Ayuk on the weekend where he is just going to get so many opportunities to score a lot of big points on a lot of big plays. And Ayuk was amazing. Like, we'll talk about like Brock Purdy, but Ayuk was absolutely phenomenal. And because yesterday was my birthday, I put up a poll on our Twitter page, and whoever voted the most points was going to be which jersey I was going to get. And I'm just about to press order on my Brandon Ayuk jersey.
Devastated to think he didn't win that.
Do you know what? I didn't want Bosa, so I'm glad that Bosa didn't. But I really, really wanted Fred Warner because he is one of my absolute favorites, and he has been for a couple of years, and he's going to be phenomenal. But Ayuk is going to be my number one.
Tom's just dropped a comment saying, "I wish I could have heard that response, but he's at work, so he might get fired if he puts the sound on." No, it's fine. It's fine, Tom, because as you said, you are going to listen to the whole show tomorrow, so you will hear the response.
I just very quickly before we go into the rookies, you're on about yaks, yard after catches. People don't understand. The highest T with the yaks in week 1 was in Foxborough.
Must be yes. Really?
Foxborough. The next best was the Dolphins.
Because people have nicknamed the Yak Bros of Ayuk, Kittle, Debo, and McCaffrey are apparently the Yak Bros.
Nice. So rookie of the week.
And moving on swiftly to our next story. Oh, nice. Anyway,
rookie of the week. Obviously, Mr. Hope has taken Jake Moody. Are you doubling that up, Mr. Perrins?
Yeah, you know what? YOLO. I love a kicker.
Kickers are people too.
I've got to be careful how I say about that. Jalen Carter went for Mr. Harris, or Mr. Harris took Jalen Carter. 1 tackle, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, and he got to Mac once on that. I mean, he's a big old boy, Jalen Carter. He was causing a lot of issues. I mean, that front 7 was literally held up. I mean, Mac Jones only got hit 10 times, mind you. So, I mean, but
only
compared to Joey Burrows. that's not a lot. I mean, he only got 10 hit 10 times compared to last season as well. That's a lot. And considering we had 2 of our starting linemen out, that's pretty good. I have gone, so I've got to make sure I get this name right. Puka Nakua.
The guy that's going to get locked up next week by the Niners.
Mate, he's 10 catches, 119 yards, 0 touchdowns from, I think it was 15 targets. When they say targets, it's like, he's roughly in the area Stafford was throwing it away kind of thing. I mean, this was a very, very good player, and he had a very, very good week.
Yeah.
And
he was undrafted, wasn't he? He's an undrafted rookie, is he not?
Another undrafted one as well. These undrafted. This is a very, very deep class at wide receiver. We've got quite a bit of news.
I'm worried with him against Ambry Thomas next week.
He'll be fine. Rolling on to the news. Obviously, the big one is Aaron Rodgers. He is done for the season with the torn Achilles.
Have you guys seen the video of that play? Because it looked fairly innocuous to me when I was watching it.
What it looks like the front studs have got caught in the turf. Because as he's turned, it's popped. You can actually see it popped. It wasn't the motion of the player turning and bringing him down. It was literally his front studs got caught in the foot in the turf and got stuck.
And moving on to turf, the NFLPA and the whole turf versus grass debate has come up again.
So they've dropped an email. So let me a response. So let me get it up. Right, I need to change this so I can actually read this properly.
Ollie showing his age here.
Moving all stadiums, fields to high-quality natural grass surfaces is the easiest decision the NFL can make. Players are overwhelmingly preferring it, and the data is clear that grass is simply safer than artificial turf. It's an issue that has been near the top of the players' list during my team visits, and one I have raised with the NFL. This is from NFLPA Executive Director Lord Howell, mind you. We all know there's an investment making the changes, bigger costs to everyone in our business if we keep losing our players to unnecessary injuries. It makes no sense that the stadiums can flip over to superior grass surfaces when the World Cup comes, or soccer clubs come to visit for expedition games in the summer. But inferior artificial surfaces are unacceptable for our own players. This is worth the investment and simply needs to be changed now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Foxborough's on turf. MetLife's on turf. Obviously, the Dome Stadium, the majority of them are on turf. And that's where the majority of the injuries are. You know, how many players did you lose in 2 weeks playing at MetLife a couple of years ago?
Let's think. Bosa did his ACL. Solomon Thomas did his ACL. We lost Bosa. No, we lost Jimmy for a bit. We lost Mostert for most of the season. We lost Debo for a bit. I mean, I just always go back to that Green Bay game where we had a totally different skill position core to the season before when we played Green Bay.
I want to, from my personal experience of playing on turf.
Oh, we Phil's moved to a cinema by the looks of it.
Oh no, sorry. I actually just went to my back room to grab a drink because I'm proper parched. Go on.
So yeah, I mean, I've had 2 serious knee injuries. One was a dislocation, which was a coming together. Can't be doing that. The other one was where I ruptured my left patella tendon. Both of these were playing on turf. Now, the ruptured was nothing. I was nowhere near. I was on my own, and all I did was hook a ball clear out of defense. Just hooked it clear. And I heard a massive pop. I would have done that on grass. There would have been a give. There would have been a given way, you know, and all that. But because the way the Astro grabs the studs, it doesn't turn. It's difficult to turn. It makes it more grippy. It's meant to be better for when it's wet and all that. But it is very, very forgiving, and it is very hard when you land on it.
Yeah.
You know, you see more concussions on artificial turf as well, because when they come down, it hurts.
Yeah.
It is very, very solid. And I do really agree with, I can't remember the chief executive or the executive director of the NFLPA. Completely agree with him. He is right. It is, let's think about money and not about player safety.
Yes.
But How many jerseys has Aaron Rodgers sold in that MetLife? How many did we see on Monday night who had number 8 on them? Now, he's not going to be able to play for this season. He might not ever play again. So they're now going to have to do it that way. So they think about money more than anything else, and it's ridiculous. Now, it needs to be changed. Grass is better. It's more forgiving. It's softer. And you probably would see a lot less concussions because players are going to come down, hit their heads, and they go out into the blue tent because they've hit their head on the surf.
That Roger Goodell keeps his job because he makes the league money. It's got nothing to do with how good he is as a commissioner, how consistent he is, or how he puts the fear of God into all the players because he is the boss. No, he is voted in by the 32 owners in the National Football League. And if they all agree, he gets to renew his contract and so on and so forth. So he makes them a lot of money. So it's not like the NFL is poverty stricken. In fact, if anything, the NFL is continuously making more and more money every single year, hence why the salary cap goes up every single year. It blows my mind that these multi-billionaire owners who own these billion-dollar franchises, how much did the Commanders go for? Like 4 billion?
6.5 billion.
6.5 billion. So, and that's the Commanders who were just owned by Dan Snyder, who was just the worst of the worst. Now, imagine how much, say, the Cowboys are worth, or the 49ers, or the Chiefs, or the Patriots. They're worth probably double, even potentially even triple the worth of the Commanders. So the fact that they keep rolling out this artificial turf, which, even by the way, again, I know I harp on about America's game, but when they were talking about turf in the 80s, players hated it because of how hot it would get, how unforgiving it would be. Now, it's gotten considerably better in 30, 40 years, but players are still getting injured. And it seems more of an epidemic more now than I've ever known it in all my time following the NFL. And we talk about like the draft where it's essentially every year, oh, one of our players has gone down with a torn ACL. It's okay. We can just move on. We can draft another player. And I'm not saying the Jets are thinking this, but they're going, oh, we've got Zach Wilson. But we can get another player next year if we don't potentially, if we don't continuously do well. So, and then there were rumblings about the fact that they were looking to pick up a free agent quarterback. And I even heard, I don't know if you heard about this, Ollie, but like there was the social media rumblings about the Jets were maybe going to try and make a move to bring Sam Darnold back. So it was just like...
The one I heard is the agent, the Kaepernick's agent reached out.
Yep. I heard that as well.
Kaepernick hasn't played in the league in nearly a decade, so any team that takes it on now, it's ridiculous. But Kaepernick's not coming back. But yeah. So what's going to be cheaper, returfing all of the stadiums, or looking to buy or bring in a new star player in a position? You think the turf, changing the turf, but I don't know.
I want
short gains, long profits.
Just talking about player safety, I want to go back to this off season when the owners voted to bring in the flexing to Thursday night thing.
Yeah,
that was again going financial gain over player safety.
Yeah, there's a rule. There's 28 days. They have to give them 28 days, don't they? No.
Yeah, but.
Yeah,
Thursday night games are still a big issue.
And
teams don't like it because if you play Sunday, you don't train Monday, Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
You come in on do your press stuff like players come and do, like Mac and Bill and Carl and Brock, for example, come and do their press stuff, team captains and all that, but they don't train. They come in like they might come and watch some videos, might do some personal workouts and stuff like that, watching game footage. But they don't do on-field training. It's to give them body recovery. And if they're playing on a Sunday and a Thursday, you're straight back into it on Monday.
Yeah.
Straight back into it. Obviously, if you play on a Thursday, then you've got 10 days. So you've got like a mini bye. So it does counteract it that way. But a lot of players, I mean, how many years now have they had Thursday night football? Is it about 15, 18 years, something like that, isn't it?
I mean, I don't remember a time where there wasn't Thursday night football.
Yeah. on a bit of positive news, and I really do like this one. So the NFL, for a few years now, have had what's known as the International Player Pathway
The
Program.
IPP.
Yeah.
I love this. So it's brought in Effie, it's brought in Milano, the right tackle for Philadelphia Eagles, Jacoby Johnson, the fullback for Las Vegas, for England. So there's a lot of really good players that we've seen come through who are based in Europe, Africa, and all that. So it's headed by OC. This is OC, OC's baby and OC's dream. They are now opening up to every team has to have one of these players in.
And just to be clear, the International Player Pathway allows there to be an extra slot on their practice squad to allow it, but it has to be occupied by a player who's not based, who does not come from USA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it always used to be 8 teams. So it used to be NFC East and AFC East, for example. But now it's open so they'll be bringing more players in. Opens up this wonderful game to more nations all over the world. We know it's massive over here. It's massive in Germany. They take a lot of Nigerians in the NFL Academy, or the Africans in the NFL Academy based up in Loughborough in England. So it is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's only going to increase the sport. And I can't see it much more time until they've got a franchise out of USA. I can't see that, but that's a different story for a different day.
Well, I mean that'll be helped by the Jags playing 2 weeks in the UK this year.
Yeah. Shame we didn't have this when we were back in our playing days, Phil. We might have been in the NFL.
I know. I keep thinking that a lad that I played football with, his name was Occo, and he was like this Scandinavian god. Like, I actually felt sick playing next to him because he was like 6'6". He looked like Thor. He was amazing. He was this amazing defensive end, and he was just a machine. He was jacked, and he came over from Sweden to play in England in the hope that he would get a transfer and do a semester in an American division, or go to play like in American college. He managed to get that in his 3rd year, but that was his goal, to play in the NFL. He ended up playing for his country, for like American football, and he's amazing lad, so funny. But yeah, that would have been so. I might have tried harder as well at uni if there was that opportunity to for me to actually, I would have maybe gone to spend like an extra hour in the gym, or didn't drink as much. But that's it's different times. It's just amazing to make that global sport, that the National Football League is slowly becoming a worldwide football league. And I love things like that. I love the players from Africa getting an opportunity, and I love that all 32 teams now have an international scouting system where they can have these overseas players come in for these tryout days. I think that's an amazing opportunity. I really do. And we've got to thank players like Ossie as well, who are such proponents for it.
Shane's just said Tony Khan's other baby will be selling out Wembley more than once if they get the Jags here full time.
No,
I think if the FA had let Tony Khan buy Wembley, we probably would have the Jags over here by now. But the Jags have been pretty clear now that they're staying in Jacksonville.
Yeah, because they've got plans for a brand new stadium coming up, haven't they, soon? So
brand new
Jags coming over here more than
stadium.
once, or Jags coming over here every year. Maybe I think of a pass soon. I think.
I think still coming over here once a year, but
yeah, I think when the NFL eventually, naturally, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next 10 years, have an expansion where they'll create 4, maybe 6 teams to go into the NFL, just to make it slightly bigger, because I think now more than ever, there is potentially more interest.
I think 2028, when the new NFLPA comes, the new NFL CPA comes in, there could be an expansion, and there could be an extra week added to the season, with potentially 8 new teams and 2 new divisions.
Yeah, and you know what? That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because you could potentially have maybe like a team in London, maybe a team in Germany. I think London's more realistic than a European team, but having another team in, say,
Germany, Canada, USA, Mexico.
I mean, they could add a new division to each conference and have it like
NFC Central.
NFC
Yeah.
NFC International,
Yeah.
Canada, Mexico, Germany, UK.
They'd
Yeah.
fall
Yeah.
down, definitely. While we talk about international games, London is good. Well, sorry, Tottenham and the NFL have extended their partnership till 29-30 season, so that's guaranteed for an extra 4 years. It was until
Yeah.
26 with the deal will include a minimum of 2 regular season games each
Well, I
year.
mean, obviously, I hope that it expands, but the fact that we've got at least 2 is a good sign.
Yeah.
Yep. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it's not much longer that they bring the Pro Ball over or something like that. Let's give them the Pro Ball. Let's see what it's like, because obviously they might not be able to use Tottenham because of the winter and the season, but they could use like Cardiff Park, which is roofed, or they could take it down to they could even take it down to the Bernabeu, which has now got a roof it down there and it's got retractable floor.
They could use Wembley.
Then they can use Wembley, but Wembley hasn't got a roof. But that's the only thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean,
Wembley does have a roof. Doesn't Wembley have a roof?
The whole
No.
cover. So they can close the roof.
Yeah, but I mean, look, let them play in the rain.
Pro Bowl in the freezing rain in February. Yeah, good luck on that one. Right, week 2 is starting in about 4 hours' time with Thursday Night Football of the Vikings at
And
the
I
Eagles.
think it's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah.
2 teams with something to prove. Yes, Philadelphia won, but they didn't look convincing.
You're being corrected by Phil, by Shane, Ollie. That it's no longer called Cardiff Arms Park, and it's now the Principality or the Millennium Stadium.
Did I say Cardiff Arms Park?
You did, yeah. You
I
did.
meant Millennium Stadium. I do apologise to my my Welsh people, including my other half who sat upstairs, and she'll probably kill me.
You'll probably get pulled off on that. You'll be sleeping on the sofa tonight.
I'll kick Finn out of the bunk bed. I'll have the bottom bunks. Yeah, I mean, it's really games that really. I mean, Ollie, you've already said this is going to be a great game. I mean, Minnesota didn't look good against.
Mhm.
Oh my
Tampa
God,
Bay.
who did they play?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, that was it. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
'cause,
but the Eagles didn't exactly light up the world against you guys, though, did they?
no. So there's going to be a lot to prove in those 2 games. Both teams need a convincing win, I think.
One of the games I'm actually looking forward to is kind of the toilet bowl of the week. Colts or Texans, 2 rookie quarterbacks.
And me, number 2 and number 3 ranked. Number 2 and number 3, or was it 4? Was he 3 or 4? 4.
We'll land
picked.
someone at 3 to the Texans.
Oh yeah, of course. So even 1, 2, and 3.
2, 3, and 4.
2, 3,
2,
and
3,
4.
and 4.
You know, of this year's draft. Yeah, that's going to be a really, really good one.
And Shane will probably like this, and I know I was bantering him earlier about the relevancy of the AFC East. I do want to see how the Bengals bounce back with another divisional round, another divisional game.
Are LA or are Baltimore an actual team? No,
and I'd just like to say one little thing about the 49ers versus the Rams.
Go on then.
This is the first time ever a quarterback who was first pick will be playing a quarterback who was the last pick in the draft.
I love that stat. That is
amazing.
A great stat. Absolutely brilliant stat.
I mean, going back onto the Rams versus the 49ers for a second. Last weekend, I don't think we covered it when we talked about like the Rams and the Seahawks, but DK Metcalf and that illegal off the ball hit.
Oh, we mentioned it.
Did we? Oh, crap. Other thing, Matt Stafford did not get touched at all in the game last weekend. He did not get any contact from the Seahawks defense. I guarantee you he will be hit multiple times this weekend. And Shane
has said we'll bounce him out the jungle.
Shane, I didn't realize this until I was watching the highlights, and this is how tired I've been this week, right? The Raven mascot, his name is Poe, right? And when it popped up, he's wearing like a Raven like jersey, and it's got like Poe, and it went, huh, Poe, like Edgar Allan Poe. I wonder why. It's like, I wonder why the Raven's called Poe. Obviously, because Edgar Allan Poe, the American writer, was from Baltimore, and they're called the Baltimore Ravens. And it was just one of those like little dime kind of like things that's going, oh, of course, the Raven mascot would be Poe.
It's also nice to see Poe back after his injury last season.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I can see Lions going to 2-0.
Yes.
Who are the Lions got?
Those smug arseholes, the Lions fans. Ooh, we can actually win consistently now. Ooh.
I think Sky might be slightly regretting putting the Jets on constantly now.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they will. Yes, Jets don't have Aaron Rodgers' unfortunate injury, but you've said all in wants this team, and I'm going to agree. Jets are a really good team this year.
Yep.
They've got some really good players. You know, yes.
I mean, as Aaron Rodgers said, 17 is special.
He's that catch as well. Oh my, that could have been.
I almost swapped playing my player of the week.
That was a brilliant catch. I mean, how he managed to literally knock into one hand, and as he was falling down, bring it under duress from I can't even think who it was.
It wasn't Poyer, was it?
It wasn't Poyer. No, it wasn't, and it
Was it
wasn't
Milano?
No, because it was a corner. Milano's linebacker. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, he is special, and you got Alan Lazard, who's a good, reliable wide receiver. And Randall Cobb does all the dirty work and all that, and will block.
I mentioned 3 good running backs.
3 good running backs. You know, a half decent line, and that offense, that front 7 on the defense side of the ball is scary. You know, really, really scary. And as they kept saying on Hard Knocks, they got the best offensive line or best front 7 in the league. I'm starting to believe it.
What, on defense?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you'll take your 49ers hat off for a minute, please.
We have a better front 7 than them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got the 2 games on Monday night, so we'll talk about them on Monday's show. Tuesday morning.
I actually forgot we had a doubleheader this week on Monday night.
Yeah, that's so we got a fewer games.
That's really surreal, isn't it? That I don't know if I like that. Like I've automatically got, oh, I don't know if I like that.
I mean, they did it week 1 last season, didn't they?
No, it was early on. I don't think it was week 1 again, but it was early on. KC Jacksonville, that's another good game as well, I think. On that one, but we'll talk about that.
So just an aside, I was looking at Start 'em Sit 'em this week, and they were telling there was a lot of Sit 'em in KC players.
On the skill position,
Pacheco was there, and the defense was there, and I think another one was there, but I can't. Oh, Sky Moore and Kavarius Tony were also both there.
Oh, what a surprise! Neither of them catch cold, but. I was listening to New Heights earlier on in the week. I think it came out Wednesday, actually. It must have been Wednesday.
Yeah, it does come out Wednesdays.
And a certain Kelsey seems to think he'll be available this weekend.
I do. I've not got bound to listening to New Heights yet this week, but I will do probably tomorrow.
So predictions of the week time. We are on to week 2.
I'm winning. I'm winning for once.
Ollie and Phil, you've got 3 each. Myself and Shane got 2.
Considering that I'm still the champion, by the way, I'm the defending champion, and I'm still winning.
So Shane got Bears and Bills wrong. I got Bears and Carolina wrong. Stupid me. The only one who got KC right was Shano. Well done, Shano. And Mr. Hope, you got Bears wrong, and that was it. So,
can I predict the Lions?
I can't count. You've got 2, not 3.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure I predicted the KC to win.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Perry is actually leading. Woohoo! I can't count.
Color me surprised.
I should have stayed quiet.
Yeah, you should have done.
No,
Um,
I want to keep the integrity of this competition that I
Me
finished
too.
about.
I want to win. I want to
Yeah.
consistently
I
keep winning
finished-
every year.
I finished about 12 points behind everyone else on last season.
So, Mr. Harris has given me his games, his predictions. I think we've already seen them on the chat anyway. So, Mr. Parent, as you are on leading the way, would you like to give me your prediction for Philly versus Eagles tonight's game?
Philly
You mean
versus
the
Minnesota.
You mean the
Yeah,
Vikings versus
Um,
the Eagles?
I am gonna go Eagles because I think. Did you hear what Baker Mayfield said about how he instantly could tell the calls for the Vikings and he was able to like beat their defense?
Yeah. And he also told some guys to put some weight on.
Yeah. I think the Vikings looked very predictable the weekend, and I think Eagles have more than enough to beat them on multiple different levels. So I'm going to go Philly.
Mr. Hope?
I feel said literally exactly what I was going to say. Eagles to win for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Jordan Addison is now in there now, and yes, they're always going to have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
But the run game isn't good enough. And that
They never should have cut Cook, really.
that defense, that front seven, forward defense, they were the highest sacking team in the league last year. They had more hits, more run. They were the number one run defense last year. Yeah, it's Philadelphia all day long, isn't it?
Yeah.
On that one. The other one, the reigning Super Bowl champions against one of the pretenders, KC against Jacksonville. Who would like to go first?
I will.
Go on
Kelsey's back. Enough said, Chiefs.
then. KC.
Do you know what? I'm going to take a risk.
Oh.
I'm going to say Jacksonville.
Oh.
Let's be very honest. The Chiefs did not play well. The receiver, yes, I did not have Kelsey, but the receivers were dropping, they were just dropping every single ball coming their way. I think Kelsey coming back from injury is a plus for them, but I still think there's massive question marks around that receiving core in general. And I think Jacksonville are going to go into it fancying themselves, despite the fact that we're going against the Super Bowl champion, despite the fact that they're going up against Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
If Kelsey's not available, I want to go Jags.
Oh. Answer on the postcards if you let him change it before Sunday. If you send the postcards, it won't turn up in time, so you'll have to stay with KC. Right. So in the predictor league that I'm on in the group, I mean Ollie's on it as well. Kelly.
Yeah, I
Tom,
believe you lost your first game, didn't you, Ollie? And I won
Yes.
mine.
I took a few rogue risks, I will admit. I've gone KC. I have. Now, yes, their receivers had a nightmare. I mean, I've seen under 6 goalkeepers catch the ball better than some of their receivers done. It's
So
ridiculous.
think about how often the Chiefs lose 2 games in a row, though.
It is very rare. It is very, very rarely, and it's very rarely that Andy Reid is one of those things. Right, this is what we've messed up. We will get this right, and he will not make that mistakes again. It's a very Belichick, a very an old school coach's style thing. Make mistakes, we will fix them. That will never happen again. It's that kind of thing. So I'm going to go for KC. I'm not saying that because my eldest is a KC fan. I generally do think they will get it fixed. They're not going to blow Jacksonville out of the water because Jacksonville are a bloody good team, and they're going to easily win their division. But I think that they're just going to go right. This is us. This is what we do. Good luck on that one. Shayna's also going for KC. I was going through these games. I was going, right, I can't pick them. I can't pick them. And I can't pick them because that's the teams we support. Can't really do that because that's just ridiculous game to go for. So we've gone for a couple of toilet bowls. Chargers at the Titans.
Chargers.
Chargers.
I'm going to go the other way.
Oh, snap.
I do think it's Tennessee.
Tannehill was so poor last week, though.
Agreed on that one. But come on, LA Chargers allowed Tua to throw over 466 yards.
Yeah, but they proved they can score points.
True.
They scored 34 of their own.
Vrabel will get this sorted. Vrabel has pretty much said Tannehill has to step up. So I think Tannehill's going to feel that pressure now. If he doesn't step up, he's gone. And they're going to start.
Do you think he has the ability to step up?
Mhm.
He didn't play a lot in pre-season. And it could be just a phase of, right, I've not played a game. I've gone his arm. So I do think it is.
I just think he's a mid quarterback.
We know.
Yeah.
Your feelings on Ryan Tannehill is almost as good as mine on Tua.
Yeah, except I'm right.
No, we don't know about that one. The last game of the week that for this competition is Washington at Denver. Mr. Hope.
This one's hard because I think Denver looked a lot better under Sean Payton this year.
Yep.
And obviously, up in the Mile High City is a hard place to go.
Mhm.
Very much so.
So I think I'm going to take the Broncos.
Yeah. Shane had gone for Washington and he went for LA in the other game as well, mind you. So he's taken Washington. I think Sam Howell is on a massive learning curve at the moment. And yes, he's had a season in the league as a backup and he's still got a lot of learning. Playing in an actual live game is very, very different to just standing on the sidelines holding your helmet, hoping you get on.
I mean, cutting Heineke was a big mistake for Washington, in my opinion.
110%. Heineke will be starting for Atlanta by week 8, mind you. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
Well, Riddle looked okay.
I
mean, it's quite funny because you were so high on Riddle coming out of the college.
I so am. I do think Ridder's really, really good.
And I was very high on Howell coming out of college.
Yeah, I do think Ridder's really good, but his development's been stunted because he's not sat behind even Matt Stafford, that kind of sort of, Drew Brees, Matt Stafford.
Mariota doesn't come under this.
And people like
Mariota
that.
doesn't come under that, does he?
No. Mariota didn't play for 3 years, near enough. So I am going to go for Denver as well. I just think that secondary of in Denver is pretty strong with Pat Surtain in there and all that as well. And Russ is starting to look a bit like Russ did 4 or 5 years ago, extending the play, moving the ball around, moving the pocket around. And he did take a very good deep shot. And if it wasn't for stupid PI, it was a walk-in touchdown on that one. And Mr. Perrins, finally for yourself.
I'm going to go Broncos. I didn't think, last weekend didn't really tell us anything about who was good and who was bad between the Redskins and the Cardinals because they're both favorite to finish with massively losing records anyway.
Commanders.
Either way, I think Payton has, Sean Payton, I should say, has enough to probably coach the Broncos to a victory.
Yeah, I agree with that one. They are getting better and better. I mean, when they get Jerry Jeudy back as well, it's just another dangerous one.
I think Jerry Judy's expected to potentially play this week.
Is he? Interesting. I did not know that one.
I believe he's questionable for this week.
Nice. Love that. Love that one. Yeah, I'm so glad it is back. I really am. I love the NFL. I love this sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
really, really
this with football and F1, and when the actual horse racing jump season gets back, and the Cricket World Cup the Cricket World Cup starts soon.
Ryder Cup in 3 weeks.
Yes.
2 weeks. Yeah.
It's a good month, and the NFL's coming to London soon.
Oh yes. Very good.
I've got a good Honestly, I'm going to watch so much sport in the next month and a half,
Mhm.
and I'm going on holiday.
More importantly, I get to see your lovely faces in the flesh in a few weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not going to see my lovely face on Thursday next week, but
Mr. Hope is on holiday duties. Oh, that could be interesting.
I've literally just realised that I'm not going to be here on Thursday next week.
It's my birthday Thursday next week as well. It could be the Phil and Shane show.
Oh my god, I can't promise that we wouldn't talk about pro wrestling. Just saying.
Not the wrestling. We've had not the Niners cast recently. We have to not the wrestling not the wrestling cast. Shane's just come in saying yeah.
Yeah, he's literally having a bit of a mini fit of going, oh my god, we can talk about wrestling.
I'm back next week, both days.
Buzzing.
Wouldn't it be ironic if Baltimore lost? He's not on the show and Baltimore lose. He's on the show
To be
and
fair,
Baltimore lose.
when Baltimore do lose, Shane does not actually tend to be on the show.
No, it's very true, actually.
We are back, as Shane said, on Monday, 8:30 live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever.
Hopefully as a foursome.
Yeah.
Hopefully as a foursome for the first time this season. This will be live on Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast from. It will be live on there tomorrow.
Shane says happy about seeing you all in the flesh in a few weeks. That's what he was on about with the yayas.
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, see you Monday night, 8:30. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe and have a great weekend.
Peace.